Hello, my name is Tunji Adegbeson, and I've been a member of the Academy since 2004. This year, I've had the immense privilege of being the chair of the George R. Terry Book Award Committee, and I'm incredibly excited to present today our honorees for the Terry Book Award. The George R. Terry Book Award is an All-Academy Award granted annually to the book judged to have made, and I quote, the most outstanding contribution to the global advancement of management knowledge during the prior 2 years. Authored books that contribute to the advancement of management theory, conceptualization, research, or practice are eligible for this prestigious award. As chair, I had the very great pleasure of working with an outstanding award committee comprising 7 other colleagues of incredible intellectual depth, scholarship, and experience. It was a very global committee too, with members of 8 different nationalities from universities based in 7 countries across 5 continents. So a big shout out to my awesome colleagues, Adis Birhanu of EM Lyon Business School, Matteo Cristofaro of University of Rome Tor Vergata, Roberto Galan of Ateneo de Manila University, Pinar Oshran of Oxford University, Jacob Parth of Vermont State University, Alison Sheridan of University of New England, Australia, and Christian Stadler of University of Warwick. This year we had 95 submissions, books of superb quality from a wide range of great publishers from across the world. It was no small task to carefully review them all, but after a number of review rounds, we narrowed our 95 books down to 3 finalists. And they are Fusion Strategy, How Real-Time Data and AI Will Power the Industrial Future by Vijay Govindarajan and Venkat Venkataraman. Inside the Invisible Cage, How Algorithms Control Workers by Hatim Rahman. The Case for Good Jobs, How Great Companies Bring Dignity, Pay, and Meaning to Everyone's Work by Zeynep Ton. So which was it? The eventual winner was a book which is, in the committee's words, an important book as it covers an issue most of us recognize but do not spend considerable time to understand. The way algorithms and the companies using them control workers. And while not long ago this seemed to be of interest mainly for low-paid jobs, think Uber drivers, a growing number of professions cannot now escape its effects. From a theoretical point of view, the book is interesting as prior research typically assumes that control provides greater predictability for both organization and worker. Here, it seems the use of algorithms may be increasing predictability primarily for organizations. The theoretical contribution is solid, the committee said, and the insights on reputation systems and worker agency are both fresh and important. And so, it is my very distinct pleasure to announce the winner of the 2025 George R. Terry Book Award as Inside the Invisible Cage, How Algorithms Control Workers by Hatim Rahman. Very hearty congratulations on behalf of the Academy to Hatim for the great job with Inside the Invisible Cage.
Thank you so much. I am beyond thrilled, excited, and grateful to be selected for this year's George R. Terry Book Award. It's really been a dream for mine as a grad student to be even considered and let alone be selected for this award. I remember every year in grad school looking at which books were selected as a finalist, which ones were selected as the winners, because of how influential the winners of this books are on our field. So I'm beyond excited and thrilled, and really want to thank first the committee for all the hard work they did to review the books and the very flattering and really grateful comments about the book's impact on both theory and practice. So I wanted to first start by telling you a little bit more about the book and then also the process, some of the behind the scenes that you don't necessarily get by reading the book. So, at its core, the book's main argument is that as organizations are embracing algorithms and artificial intelligence, it's changing the nature of control, both theoretically and empirically. And so the metaphor I advance here is of that of the invisible cage, right? The way that digital platforms and organizations more broadly are using algorithms, it makes it, in contrast to the iron cage, invisible because organizations are using AI and algorithms to change the rules and criteria for success at an unprecedented speed and scale without those who are being subject to these algorithms without really notice or explanation. So that's what makes it invisible. It's a cage because these algorithms increasingly control our opportunities without our say. And so the central metaphor comes together that we're really in an era, in a situation where a lot of people are experiencing algorithms and AI as these very opaque, invisible cages. And one of the reasons why I think this is important, and one of the central arguments of the book, is that the way that algorithms and artificial intelligence are being used reflects a lot about organizational priorities and values. In other words, it's not necessary that algorithms and AI are opaque or they move so fast. Those are very much organizational choices. And as scholars, as people who are being subject to these technologies, we have a role both through our scholarship and our use of these technologies to advocate for more transparent, equitable, mutually beneficial design and implementations of these technologies. And so, I'll leave it to kind of our community to read, and I've loved everyone's engagement with the book, the feedback I've got, because when you're writing the book, often when you write it and you're done, you're thinking this is the end. But I very much view this as the beginning, the beginning of a conversation, awareness, interest in new ideas. So, that's a little bit about the book, and I really, again, appreciate the committee's words and encouragement about the book's arguments. I wanted to just briefly take you behind the scenes on the book, especially for kind of graduate students and scholars who are just starting out in the field. There's a lot of times of a question that I receive, like, why did you do a book? Right? A lot of the cachet, a lot of the incentives, a lot of the momentum in our field is towards journal articles. But what I love about this award and about books in general, it's a reminder that books have a very important and special place in our scholarly community. For me, when I was a graduate student, being able to think about a book meant going beyond just thinking about, what is the narrow argument I have, and go broader. And so what I really enjoyed about the process of writing the book, and what's gratifying about receiving this award, it's some testament there is a lot of appetite for very deep thinking and deep theorizing about the phenomenon, about the different subjects that we're interested in. In other words, especially kind of relating to the theme of the book, as we're approaching this age of artificial intelligence where everything seems that it's going faster and more instantaneous. Again, I think this is a reminder as scholars, it's really important for us to take out the time to think deeply, make connections. So, for those who are going to check out the book, the data collection lasted 6 years for this book. And analyzing and writing that took many more years. And so, as I mentioned, it's a reminder, hopefully, and an inspiration, especially for those who are PhD students and younger scholars, to take time. Don't always get caught up on, what's the next thing, but what is the unique, rigorous arguments, evidence that you can use to understand our world and advance theory in a more meaningful way. So, with that, I also wanted to thank other people who have been very monumental in this journey of writing and publishing this book. So first, my mentors in graduate school, Steve Barley, Melissa Valentine, Woody Powell, all three of them have been fantastic and inspiring and motivating, giving me feedback, encouraging me throughout this process. in graduate school as well, Pam Hines. In graduate school, as I mentioned, when I really started the effort of this book. When I got to Northwestern, a couple years in is when I started to more seriously write from the data that I collected. So I do want to thank my colleagues at Northwestern as well, who gave me kind of the space and time to write this book. I want to thank my family members who have been instrumental, from my wife, my parents, my in-laws, my kids. Everyone has been really supportive and giving me, again, kind of the space and time to do the thinking in the writing. I want to thank several of my colleagues and peers. So Tim Weiss has been with me almost every step of the way in writing this book. H.A. Kainak has been there as well. Lindsay Cameron has been kind of one of my intellectual co-conspirators throughout this process as well. I want to thank my publisher, University of California Press, my editor, Naomi Schneider. I kind of wrote a cold proposal and she engaged with it. So I very, very much want to acknowledge her role as well and my publisher. And then finally, I also want to thank the people who endorsed my book early on, before it was published, before it, received this award. So Mario Small, Bob Sutton, Susan Scott, David Otter, Sadal Neely, David Padula were very kind to read an early draft of the book and provide their endorsement and encouragement. So again, I want to thank really the entire AOM and beyond scholarly community who have supported me throughout my academic journey and kind of the culmination in recognizing and being selected for this award.
Many thanks on behalf of the entire committee for the opportunity to serve our community. And I do hope you make out time to view all the other Academy of Management Award presentation sessions. Thank you very much.